Hello and welcome to episode 89 of the Alfa Romeo Driver Podcast, brought to you by the Alfa Romeo Owners Club. I'm Guy Swarbrick, and in this, our first podcast of 2024, I'm joined by Club Chairman John Griffiths, Club Manager Nick Wright, and Management Team Member David Faithful for our first roundtable of the year. Good afternoon, gentlemen.
Afternoon, Guy.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Happy New Year to you all, and Happy New Year to all of our listeners. I think the new year, and this year in particular, is probably the theme for the podcast, because it's a rather special year this year with the club's 60th anniversary. So we're going to devote most of this episode to talking about things that are definitely going to happen and some of the things that are currently in the planning process and are likely to happen. Let's start with the big one, because we've already announced the date for National Alpha Day. John, do you want to tell us a little bit about National Alpha Day this year and how it's special for the anniversary and how it's different from previous years?
Yes, certainly will. So we're looking at the 18th of August at Vista Heritage. It'll be the 5th time that the club's been to it, but it is such a tremendous facility. It ticks so many boxes. It's one that we couldn't overlook again this year. Though that said, we had been looking at the potential of using another venue, but that just would not come together correctly at the right time. So we've reverted to Vista, and it's not a backward step at all. It's a tremendous place, very well received. We've had over 2,000 people at the last two that have taken place in August, and to go for the similar weekend for last year, I think will be terrific for us. It's easily accessible. It's close to the bulk of our membership in the south of the country. Loads of space that we can use in different ways, and we will be changing that this year. Plenty of facilities, and of course it's got a track. And to add that bit of the driving element to it and the movement just went down so well when we did it properly for the first time in 2022. We've got even better at it this year, and I'm delighted to say that the guys
last year, John,
when we did it last year, and I'm delighted to say that the guys who we used so well, Ed McDonough, former chairman, and Mike Stark, have both said that they'll get involved in making sure that the track is terrific again. And again, through experience, we'll make it even better. But that means anybody coming along will have the opportunity to book a slot to drive their car at National Alpha Day. Now, adding to this, of course, we'll keep the regular features that people love, like the Italian band, all of the stuff that the kids enjoy with the kiddie carts, face painting and ride-on toys, the land train that takes us all around the site, and we'll move things around too. But our intention too, whereas we had the celebration last year of the Quadrifolio's 100th anniversary, we'll be using an extension to that display space for using the indoor massive hangar area for a Alphas through the ages, having 60 years worth of Alfa Romeos lined up of different types. So we're working on the design for that and how we can get members involved with it at the moment.
So some of the people who won't even take their cars out in August in case it rains.
Yeah. They'll be covered. Yeah.
Literally.
I've been to Vista events there where they've been used in the past, and they've had supercars in there. And on a wet day, it's perfect, of course. And actually, if we hit 30 degrees like we did
nice
in 2022,
and cool in there.
It's nice relief from the sun as well. So it won't just be cars in there. We'll be planning to use it for other things too. But the Alphas through the years, I think, will be great.
So that the hangar sounds interesting in terms of a display area for some of the more unusual vehicles. I think there's some progress on getting a bigger representation of pre-war cars along as well, David.
We had our sections and registrars event towards the end of last year. And one of the things that Carol Corliss, our pre-war registrar, mentioned was there are a number of vintage and pre-war Alfa Romeo owners who might be keen to bring their cars out if weather could be guaranteed. And of course, the problem is we can never, ever guarantee the weather. The compromise, though, is by having the special anniversary hangar, they're at least guaranteed decent weather while their car is parked up. So, Carol's going to be working with all of the pre-war and vintage community, all the owners of Alfa Romeos that, frankly, you really rarely get to see. And we're going to try and get quite a healthy number there for National Alpha Day. It's always very exciting for people. You know, if an 80 Monza or similar turns up, it's fabulous for members and attendees to see, but you kind of get one or two if you're lucky. So yeah, the aim for this year as part of the anniversary celebration is to try and get a really healthy number of cars that people
60, just to pluck a number out.
Yeah,
well, 60 would be nice, yeah, but well, if she can't get 60, I will fill the numbers with Mito, so she's not to worry about hangers. I think one of the things that we're also wanting to do is, I mean, we always do the show and shine and the concours competitions at National Alpha Day. We are looking at a special vintage competition as well. So that'll just be for pre-war cars. And, you know, if we're going to ask people to bring their incredibly valuable cars to National Alpha Day, the least we can do is put on a special awards ceremony with some special judging of those cars. So yeah, certainly I think the hangar will be a really positive thing, whatever the weather. But I think it'll be a really positive thing for getting some of those pre-war cars out. They haven't been out, or certainly not at a sort of a big event like National Alpha Day for some years. So I'm really, really looking forward to that.
Another thing, we're looking at inviting our friends from the European Alpha Clubs over. It may be that we'll have some special display space for those guys from Holland, Belgium, France, etc.
On the subject of overseas, it's also the New Zealand Owners Club's 50th anniversary this year. So I'm happy to do a reciprocal thing if we want to get a couple of them over, and then I'll go and attend their equivalent event.
Let's see if their club will pay for you to go over there. But yeah, we'll invite anybody from around the world, basically. But similarly, we've got invitations out to some owners of some very special Alfa Romeos as well that we'll have on display and hopefully move into. So, you know, we're going to make NAD, you know, it was brilliant last year. It'll be an even better festival this year and one for everybody to enjoy. Obviously, at National Alpha Day, we're expecting some great support from Alfa Romeo UK. And hopefully we may have early sight of the new little Milano, but there's a lot of fingers crossing at this moment for that. I mentioned it being in the south. We're working hard on a venue more northerly for Spring Alpha Day, and that's going to be special too, in that we're going to have the Alfa Romeo National Concourse there and a show and shine, in addition to those being run at National Alpha Day. We want to get as many people involved as can, and so if you're further north in the country, then we're looking forward to that. We were hoping to be able to announce that venue now, but we're just a little bit away from the end negotiation over the price and space and so on with the big venue, but that'll be out as soon as we're able to.
Well, the advantage we've got this year with Spring Alpha Days at Easter's very early in March, so yeah, second half of April would be a likely date for that. So
thanks, Nick. Yeah, so Nick's heavily involved in this. He has been for some time. We were a little bit late in getting onto it because we were working so hard on getting the National Alpha Day date and venue agreed. So, but we'll get there soon. As well as those, we're talking about indoors. We've got the very popular National Exhibition Centre shows in Birmingham, where we're going to have an even bigger presence at both of those. So we've got the Classic Car and Restoration Show sponsored by Practical Classics on the 22nd to the 24th of March, and our team from the West Midlands are getting more cars together for that big display area, and there'll be some beautiful stuff is planned for that, including one of the cars that was an absolute barn find last year, belonged to Ian Whitwell, a Series 4 Spider that had more holes than it had metal, and that's going to be close to completion, and I've seen some pictures. It looks amazing. So that's just one thing to enjoy at that one. Then the big one at the end of the year, 8th to the 10th of November 24, the Classic Motor Show, sponsored by Lancaster Insurance, no doubt, will be in the big show hall number 1 again, and we're looking to have an even bigger display area this time too, and we'll feature some beautiful, very favourite cars for members across the decades. That's the plan. So we'll have a lovely variety again. So we're not just showcasing the old cars. We'll have some slightly newer ones, the modern classics and the future classics too.
You're wishing my year away there, aren't you, John?
Basically, yeah. And I could put in all the other places that you're going to be going to as well, Nick. But,
well, we're talking about wishing your year away. Obviously, we're going to make a big fuss of National Alpha Day and the 60th anniversary, but we'll continue the celebration through all the regional events and things as well, won't we, Nick?
We will indeed, yes. Well, one of the things that came up from the section and registers weekend we had last year was getting sections involved in organising anniversary events. Those are still in the pipeline at the moment, but there are various good ideas come out of that. So yeah, watch this space. But there'll certainly be a lot of regional events if you can't make any of the big ones. Yes, indeed.
Yeah, one there I'll leap in on, Nick, was MITCAR, Midlands Italian Car Day. So I mentioned the North-South, and we've got one in the middle as well. That's just about to be announced too, as being slap bang in the middle of the country. That'll have although it's an AROC event, but we invite multiple Italian car clubs too. But we're going to have an absolute bias on Alfa Romeos this year, so that should be a good one too. That's just one example of one of the many great regional events that are done north, south, east, and west.
And we do have dates for some of those, don't we? Southwest Alpha Day and Scottish Alpha Day, I think. Nick looks at his calendar.
Looking up, yes. Southwest Alpha Day, 12th of May, Heartlands in Cornwall. Should be a nice little run. And then 26th of May is Scottish Italian Car Day at Hope Toon House again. That will be the Land's End to John O'Groats run for the van.
I was just going to say, yeah. I don't think I'm going to repeat my a couple of years ago when I did Southwest Alpha Day and Scottish Italian Car Day back to back. I think that they might be a bit too far apart this time. But I'll let you do it.
Thank you very much. Yeah.
We've had some thoughts of doing some kind of relay around the country, and we might do this as an impromptu one following Nick in the van. South to north, it could work fine, Completely random.
Pied Piper.
Yeah.
So, Nick, we talked about our events, but obviously during the course of a normal year, we get involved in lots of events run by other people, particularly our friends at Auto Italia.
Auto Italia, indeed, we do, yes. They're kicking off this year, 4th of May at Brooklands. They're a massive gathering of Italian cars, all things Italian there. So hopefully we'll be able to incorporate something to do with our anniversary at that event this year as well. But so that is always massive event. So looking forward to that one. Beginning of June, they have their second, I think, event at Sywell Autodrome, which was a really good event last year that a lot of people went to. Certainly the first time I'd ever been there. It's a really good venue.
Yeah, it's one I'm certainly keen to get involved with the Midlands sections again, and we'll be bidding for a very special display area at Sywell for sure.
That's good. I'll take the van down the runway this time, hopefully, as well.
Yeah, we can VMAX it, I reckon. It's a mile and a half. So.
They've also got their Northern Italian Car Day on 21st of July, again this year.
Raby Castle?
Raby Castle, yes. Sorry, I couldn't remember where it was. I can't read properly. Yes, Raby Castle, 21st of July. They've got their other big event this year as well. So we'll be represented there as well. The other events, we have Festival Italia at Brands Hatch in August, which is always another popular event. Silverstone Festival will be at again in August, just immediately after National Alpha Day. So hopefully the weather in August will be good. Otherwise,
that's three weekends in a row, isn't it? Because it's Festival Italia the weekend before National Alpha Day as well. So.
Yeah, indeed. Yeah. So what else would you do in August?
Yeah.
Yeah, my wife may have other ideas that might stop me getting to all three, but I'm working on that.
Yeah. So, the other thing I was going to mention, we also have display areas at Thruxton and Donington historic festivals. So details are on the forum if anyone wants discount tickets to those. We have a special display area.
Yeah.
So with all this stuff going on, people taking their cars and showing them off around the country, I suspect there's going to be some demand for 60th anniversary merchandise and car stickers. And any plans in that area, Nick?
There'll be the usual, in addition to the usual range of merchandise, there will be some special 60th anniversary available through the shop. That'll be at National Alpha Day as well, of course. The shop's also planning on coming to all the usual ones like Southwest, Scottish Day, Southern Alpha Day, Northern Alpha Day, MITCAR, Spring Alpha Day, of course. So plenty of opportunity to get your merchandise on those. We'll be doing the normal member stickers we do. There'll be a special edition of that, which won't be round this year, so it will fit on, stack on your windscreen with all the other ones.
Won't ruin my run of flags this time.
It won't, no. That will be going out in the February magazine. It doesn't go out with your membership card, as some people seem to expect it to, but it goes out in the February magazine so that everyone gets one at the same time. So don't throw your magazine away until you've got your sticker out.
Yeah, there's always something to be read on Facebook or on the club forum about, I couldn't find my sticker. because it's been chucked out with the wrapper.
Nick mentioned earlier on, David, there's some potential activity driven by the sections and registers as a result of the work that we did in Coventry. There's one already in the planning stage, I think, or even in the declaration of interest stage.
Yeah, I think there's a few. A lot of us who are registrars are, and of course it's more difficult for registers because we're not geographically advantaged. We have all of our members all over the UK. However, a number of us are doing like regional drive outs or gatherings on a register level as part of the 60th anniversary of the club. The big one that's really moving forward is the 916 register. So they're already looking at a drive to Italy and a visit to the museum. And so, yes, that one's certainly moving forward at pace. And the registrars, and that's Gary Fisher and Dave Hart, they are really pushing that for the 916 register. And they started the sort of register gatherings with their visit to Silverstone at the end of last year, and that was brilliant. They had about 50 916s there. Obviously, the Mito register will be doing something, but I'm talking with all of the registers alongside all of the sections. So I think it would be good if, not all members can get to the big events that we hold, and we do appreciate that. And that's where our sections and registers really add value to this club. Wherever you are, relatively close to and whichever model you own, you have a register. And I think if between us all, we have, how many sections is it? 28, 30 sections and about the same number of registers. So there's 60 other local regional event opportunities at sectional register level. And I think it's going to be a very active year this year in terms of the registers. The other thing I'd mention as well is that we are looking at track day opportunities. Last year we did track days. In fact, I think for the last 2 years we've done track days at Kerborough, which is a small nifty track in the East Midlands. They're really fun, and the Mito register is doing one of those in June. But we've partnered with MSV and other track day providers, and so we're looking at some of the bigger tracks like Donington, Brands and so on to do track days for members, and that'll all be part of the 60th celebrations as well. So I think if people want to be really engaged and really active and do something with their alphas, I think this is a tremendous opportunity this year for people to get involved either on the track or at an event or locally with their section or their registers for drive outs or special gatherings to celebrate the 60 years of the club.
And we're hoping to start, we obviously announced the date of National Alpha Day already, but start to trickle out dates for these things through Notiziario in middle to end of this month, and then in the magazine in the middle of February.
Let's put it this way. All the dates that we know of that have been confirmed, that'll go out in the Notiziario is in 2 weeks, I think, around Friday the 19th, that'll be going out to members. And then anything as they get firmed up will be in the magazine. And I think it's fair to say we're also open to ideas from members as well. So if members have a great idea and think, well, why isn't the club doing this? It's probably not that we don't want to or we've ruled it out. We probably haven't got to that or thought about it yet. So we're certainly, I think I speak for everyone, saying we're open to any brilliant ideas that members have.
Absolutely.
And one of the areas that we perhaps are open to ideas to a degree is there's an idea floating around to do a competition open to the membership with some kind of grand anniversary. We did a competition a while back. Was it for the Alpha's 100th anniversary, with a trip to Italy as the prize for a pair of members or a member and their partner? So looking at doing something along those lines. So if anybody has any thoughts on what they'd like to win.
Yeah, I think so. Yes, there's absolutely going to be a tremendous competition for members. Without giving too much away, it may well involve Italy, but it will involve something very special as well. So obviously we could give you some EasyJet tickets to Milan. That would be quite simple, but we're trying to do something a little bit more special.
There'd be tickets to Bergamo and then a bus pass.
Okay, well, you'd be broadly in the vicinity of Europe, let's put it that way. But no, we're trying to organise something a little bit more special. Perhaps the phrase once in a lifetime may be too much, but it will be a really, really good competition, and it'll be open to all members. There's other ideas we have as well. So again, not to give too much away, and it's kind of linked into National Alpha Day. For the last few years, when people arrive at National Alpha Day, they get a little free gift. And I think we did Alpha Bugs a couple of years ago. We did little flags last year. So we are looking at something a bit more special this year. And there's also an opportunity. This is not confirmed yet. So if this doesn't happen, please shout at only me at National Alpha Day. We're looking at doing a really special item, but we're only going to make 60 of them. So that might be a cool thing that we can do, maybe in our anniversary hangar and try and tie in things together in that way. So, I think there's going to be an awful lot going on. Not all of it is fully nailed at the point of recording of this podcast. As those things, the planning stage is complete, they become official, our members will be the first to hear about it.
Yeah, and a couple of things from my side. So we have a plan to further evolve the design of the magazine. So that will happen in line with roughly with the October-ish date of inception of the club. So rather than being from our February issue, that will happen in line with the actual 60th anniversary. And we've got a couple of special guests lined up for the podcast, which again I won't share with you at this stage, but I think people will be pretty excited when they see those announced as well.
You're suggesting that they won't be excited at us? I mean, that's a bit
How rude.
How rude.
The excitement clearly will have peaked.
Yeah.
Okay.
Should I mention the 3-hour detailing special that we're doing?
The anniversary detailing special. Yeah,
it's 60 hour.
So the plan for that is I'm going to ask John to talk about detailing, and then I'm going to go away for 3 hours and come back and say, well, thanks for joining us, John.
Yeah.
I've almost finished the 5-hour webinar on the Mito as well. So we're going to have to squeeze all these things in.
That's just on battery issues, isn't it?
Yes.
We could always do a detailing Mito book, couldn't we? That could actually then become kind of
detailing
Britannica.
Detailing Mito battery terminals. That should fill an hour, shouldn't it?
So I think it's quite good, Guy, that we've got some great stuff firm and there's some brilliant ideas being generated. And, it'd be daft for us to announce everything all at once, even if we got it all concrete. So there's plenty for people to look forward to this year already.
Yeah.
It's not that we were short of stuff last year, to be honest. I mean, it was tremendous. I think the van's due for its third service already, isn't it, from the distance it's covered, Nick? So there's plenty going on in this brilliant club, and it's fabulous to be part of its 60th anniversary. It really is.
And just to pick up on the point about section and register activities, obviously we won't cover all of those on the podcast because they're only relevant to a smaller section of the membership, but do watch out for announcements from your local section and your model registers, because there'll be lots of stuff going on at that level as well.
Yeah, and I know from personal experience there'll be a number of sections working together to do special things too. So that's something that really came out at the sections and registers weekend that we had last October. So that's even more stuff to look forward to.
And it's certainly worth checking the website. Currently, our events page is fully up to date with all the confirmed events, and we have our sections and our model registers, and they each have their news published pretty regularly, actually, certainly the sections. But the events page on the website, always up to date, and we'll post news about certainly 60th anniversary events or specials outside of the norm. We will post those on the website and on the forum as well.
Brilliant.
Just picking up on that, because I made you and I, David, hostages to fortune in the last podcast, talking about the Guardian scheme. And one of the things we talked about was doing something with the Guardian tax discs at National Alpha Day. So are we still on track to do that?
Yeah, it feels we're still on track. It depends when you want to create an imaginary launch date. So we're on track on the basis I push the launch date back a week every week or so. Yeah, Matt's really, really close. He's about to publish onto our test area for us to play with the latest Guardian. It does look very, very cool. It's just not quite ready for productionizing yet. But yeah, we're very close.
So Spring Alpha Day.
Certainly for Spring Alpha Day and National Alpha Day and everything in between afterwards.
Brilliant. Thank you very much, gentlemen.
Thanks guys.
See you soon.
Happy anniversary.
Well, there's obviously lots to look forward to over the coming 12 months. And among those things is episode 90 of the podcast, which will be available to download from Podbean, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, YouTube, the club's website, or wherever else you get your audio goodness from 1:30 p.m. on Sunday, the 4th of February. Until then, stay safe.